The Infinity Professional Coping Sled is based on a heavy aluminum plate. The bed of the coping sled is covered with an abrasive tape that, with the clamps, provides a lot of gripping power to keep the wood stable during the cuts. There's a fixed fence on one side that keeps the stock square to the sled. The movable fence can be brought up to help keep the wood from rotating. For vertical securing, we have 3 500-pound clamps that can be adjusted for whatever thickness wood you're using. The pressure legs on all of the clamps are fully adjustable both horizontally and vertically. The adjustability of the clamps means that you'll be able to securely clamp a wide range of board widths and thicknesses. The clear Lexan shield serves a few purposes, not the least of which is protecting you from chips that may fly upwards. It also spaces the coping sled out from the fence so the sled itself doesn't make contact with the bit like it can on some coping sleds that use the side of the sled to follow the fence. When setting up your stock, remember to put this follower against the fence and then bring your stock in so it butts up against the fence. That'll put it flush with the end, and if your bit's set correctly, you'll get a perfect cut. Because this shield is so long, it makes following the fence very easy and it keeps the wood very square to the cut. When working with wood that tends to chip when the bit exits, you can replace the standard plastic backer block with a longer one made of wood. There's 2 screws that go through the bottom of the coping sled that secure it. That way you can make your own custom backers and prevent chip out on the bit exit. When setting your bit height, remember that the wood's going to be on top of the sled. So you put the wood on top of the sled and adjust the bit accordingly. If you use setup blocks, it's even easier yet. We just put the block on the sled and adjust the bit height so the block will slide in. Coping bits generally have a guide bearing. In this case, on this Infinity set, the guide bearing is between the cutters. Sometimes it'll be on top. Now we want that guide bearing to be flush with the fence faces. Just put a straight edge across both faces and adjust the fence back and forward until the straight edge is contacting both sides of the fence and the bearing itself. Trying to make a coping cut with just a miter gauge or even a block of wood to try and stabilize the piece you're cutting is very difficult. There's nothing to keep the wood from rocking, and a little bit of rocking can ruin the cut or cause a kickback. With the Infinity Professional Coping Sled, the wood is locked down very securely and stays 90 degrees to the fence. The long guide rail helps you keep the sled oriented to the fence also, and it also spaces the fence away so the sled itself won't contact the bit. The handholds keep your hands far away from the bit and give you very good control over it to make a clean cut. If you'd like to use the coping sled with the router table or shaper that has the 3/4 inch miter slot, we offer this miter bar as an accessory. The miter bar comes equipped with a T-slot follower that can be removed if you have a regular square miter slot. The coping sled base has 2 sets of mounting holes for the miter bar. This lets you set it up more precisely for your router table or shaper. With the Infinity Professional Coping Sled, you can make 1 or 100 cope cuts. They'll all be identical and you'll do them all safely.